Testing 1 2 1 2 3. All right. I think I'm about ready. I got my wire cutters, and I got my pen, and I got a screwdriver just in case things go wrong, and a piece of paper. Y'all ready? So, what you see before you is a squirrel cage fan. A squirrel cage fan. And that's basically it right there. What does it come out of? It comes out... Oh, let me move that text there. So, what does it come out of? And why are we messing around with it? It comes out of an under-the-cabinet microwave. The kind of microwave that mounts up underneath the cabinet that has an exhaust fan. Not all microwaves have this, only the ones that come out from underneath the cabinet. And some of those don't, but most of them do have this fan right here. It's called a squirrel cage fan, otherwise known as a 60 hertz fan, meaning the power runs into your house at 60 hertz. It's the frequency at which your power runs, or your power is sawed back and forth. It's what this fan is built to run on. So number one, it's a very powerful fan. Number two, it's very energy efficient. Number three, it'll last forever. Like when it gets nasty, you can take it out in your driveway and hose it down with a garden hose and blow it out with a blower, and then plug it back up, and you'll be rocking and rolling, like whenever the blades get nasty and stuff. At any rate, what is the difference between this and some regular old household fan? Well, you could go up to Walmart, for example, and buy the most powerful floor fan they have up there. It might cost $150, and it doesn't blow half as hard as this fan right here. That's the truth. This fan right here is the same ones you see with the guys that like dry your house out after a flood. They just have a bigger version of them kind of sitting in this little conch shell looking housing. It's a squirrel cage fan. They used to be installed in blowers in your furnaces in your house. They don't really install those anymore. So anyway, you might think that old microwave up underneath your cabinet is toast and trash, but there's one thing in it that's worth more money than the microwave sold brand new for. Because you can't hardly buy these unless you buy a fucking microwave to go around them, right? So if you just like go to the microwave parts, like if you're buying this part for your microwave, it's going to cost you as much as a microwave. So in my opinion, this is the most expensive part of the microwave. All the other parts that's in it. We need a couple of more things to make this project happen. We need a capacitor. This is a start capacitor. Why you need a start capacitor, Jeff? Well, you need a start capacitor because you have to have enough voltage to get that squirrel cage fan spinning at 60 hertz immediately. Like, it's not going to get it on 110 volts running into it. You got to have some extra voltage, like another 110 volts, just for a split second. And that's where that comes from. What's the third thing we're going to need? Well, we're going to need a switch. We're going to need a switch that's rated for AC power. Generally, they'll say they're rated for AC 120 and 250. Okay. That is a regular AC, not a DC 12 volt. That's kind of what it looks like a rocker switch out of your car. Where do you get these? And generally, a lot of appliances have these. Mostly old gas stoves and stuff will have these. This would actually operate the light inside. Sometimes it'll be found on the door, sometimes up on the back of it. Most of the time, all it does is turn the light on in your stove. It's called a Carling switch. And that's basically about it for getting the fan. Oh, I need a power cord to get this up. But at any rate, we're going to start this thing from scratch. This is came out of a microwave I just cannibalized the other day. And I've had a couple of people that are friends of mine that are looking for one of these because they come over to my shop and they have their hats blown off by my fan, and they say, "What in the hell kind of fan is that?" And I tell them, and they say, "Man, I want one of those." So I built about 6 of them all together. Or this is going to be about my 6th one, 6, 7, I don't know, something like that. And we are not using eye protection or hearing protection or finger protection today. Now, the first question you might have is, man, how in the hell do you wire that thing up? Well, from the microwave itself came these 2 parts. From my old stove came this part. So you're going to have your capacitor generally in line with this fan somewhere. You just got to find it buried in a microwave. And then this right here goes to something else. Okay, so how do you wire it up? Well, normally on the shrouds of these fans, you'll see on the right hand side the wiring schematic for this thing. So as you see, the top wire is black, then white, then yellow, then red, then blue. And then you'll notice beside the white it says L, and beside the black it says M. Okay. There's also high. What's high? High is black and white at the same time. Okay. And you see where the where it shows the cap wired in there, and you see where this switch is on the yellow and red. So that's your wiring schematic right there. So let's go ahead and get into it. The first thing we want to do is we're going to connect the black and white wire and leave them open and hanging. And then we're going to wire in the switch and the capacitor. The switch is going to go on one side of the switch is going to go black and white. The other side of the switch is going to go blue. On the capacitor, one side of the capacitor is going to be yellow, the other side is going to be red. Okay? Oops. And that's what that says. So let's go ahead and get into it. Also, before you get this project started, you need to clean this fan, because I can guarantee if it came out of an old microwave, it's going to be loaded with damn grease big time. So you're just going to hose it down with some degreaser, and just like it is there, just set it right out in your driveway or your sidewalk with your garden hose. Soak it down, all of it. Doesn't matter what gets wet. Soak it all down. Get all that grease out of there, or your fan will be smelling like grease. Okay. These right here are the shrouds that go on either side. Okay. So let's get the wiring going. Or should we go ahead and put the shrouds on? Let's go ahead and put the shrouds on. The only reason they're off now is because I was cleaning it up. And you can't clean it with the shrouds on. So you'll notice on that shroud, you got like a little clip right there. That's always going to go down into that little hole right there. Okay, and then this shroud right here is going to go like this right here. And then it's got screws as well. It's got screws as well, 4 of them in that shroud, which are these little guys here. See if I can do this where y'all can see it. I got my headphones on. Let me take these headphones off. Alright. So it's just 2 screws in each side of each shroud. You'll never have more than 2. But remember that little clip there, when you take it apart, it's easy to break that clip. Okay. Now let's go ahead with the wiring. We really don't need this wiring harness, so we're going to cut off the wires as close to the harness as we can. That'll give us as much wire as we can get out of that. Also, this wire shield right here, we're going to cut it back a little bit. Give us a little better access to these wires. Okay. Let's go ahead and strip the wires that we need stripped, which is all of them. So our black and our white, remember they go together. So let's go ahead and put those together. Okay, we got the yellow and the red. Remember, they go to the capacitor. Ah, I just dropped a piece of plastic in the fan, damn it. And the blue, the other side of the switch. Okay, we got all our wires. Let's go ahead and twist them up just a little bit, just to keep them from getting frayed real bad while we're connecting wires. Now, you can just use shrink wrap at this point. I don't have any shrink wrap in my box now, so I gotta do something else. Alright, so I'm just going to use these little connectors here for a couple of them. And which ones do I want to use those on? Well, I think I'm going to use them on the cap. So I'm just going to connect this one. I'm going to shove it all the way clean through if I can. Not a lot of people do it like this. Sometimes I can get it to work to where I can knot them and then pull them back into it and close it up. It's not going to let me do that. What I am going to do is I'm going to bend that wire over like that. And I want to shove it in there. Come on, get in there. And this guy right here. Okay, that feels good. Bend this guy over. Put him in here. Okay. Now we got yellow on yellow. This is a little bit thicker wire. We'll go ahead and just chop it off. And shove them in there. Okay, red on red. Okay, we got the wires for our cap done. So before we really wire up the switch, okay, before we wire that switch up hardcore like, we're just going to use some wire nuts on it just to make sure that we're all good. So we got 4 connections to make here. I'm fixing to go get a power cord to use with this thing. Now you can chop the wire off the microwave. You need a wire. Okay, I found a little piece of wire. Get all this crap off of it. Alright, so I got a little wire here. It's a grounded plug. It's a flat wire. So what does that mean? That means that one is my hot, one's my neutral, one's my ground. So it doesn't matter. 60 hertz is 60 hertz. AC is AC. So you can't, there is no positive and negative. They're both positive, they're both negative. Can't see that, can you? So all I'm doing is I'm trying to strip that wire back a little bit, get it started. It's a flat wire, so I want it to kind of split open and be shielded real good. And good, it came apart. Good. Okay. Now let's go ahead and expose them. That's our power cord. So remember, we got power coming into the cord and out of the cord, or out of the cord and back into the cord. So you got 4 connections because you got a switch in there. This switch right here. So we want one end of the switch, okay, on one of them outside wires. Okay. Then this is going to go to white and black. Wait a minute. Am I doing this right? Coming in. Yeah. That's right. So this is coming in. You can put it on the blue or the black. It doesn't make a difference. I'm sorry. 3 connections. And then the other side of that power wire is going to the white and black. Well, what are you doing with the green, Jeff? The green is going to attach to the metal of the motor. Now you don't necessarily need it on there just for testing purposes. And how are you going to get that on there? You can just use a little wire clip. All right, let's get our cap going. Let's get our cap wired up. Make sure you discharge this capacitor before you start dicking around with it. It's 100 and some odd volts. It'll put a hurting on you. Alright, now if we have wired this thing up correctly, it won't spark and smoke. Plugged in, and we're up and running. I think everything's wired up. Now let's just say I took, remember I got the black and white together on one. Let's just say I had a 3-way switch, because this fan is capable of high, medium, and low. So if I had a 3-way switch, not a dimmer switch, not a potentiometer, but a 3-way switch, an actual 3-way switch, I could wire each individual, the black into one, the white in the other, and then on the level 3 is when it connects both of them together. But let's just say I was just hardwiring this up and I wanted it to always be a low speed. So revert back to your thing here, and black was high, white was low. Okay, so let's discontinue the black, since the black is high, and let's take the black off, turn it back on. Make sure that ain't touching nothing. Okay, now just have the white wired up. Oop. Well, that is completely fucking backwards, isn't it? Showing white on low and black on high on that damn thing, but look what's happened. Now I got super high speed on just white. Okay, let's disconnect it. This is why I use wire nuts, man, because I swear to God, fucking sometimes this shit, it's always wanky. Generally they're all about the same, but they can be. It just depends on the motherboard that's behind it that actually turns things on and off. Alright, here you go. This should be low then. Nope, that's extremely high. So on this particular model, when you put white and black together, that's medium. So white by itself is low, white and black is medium, and just black is high. Just as the picture says, just wired up a little bit differently than some. And now you got a working fan. All you got to do is box it in. And that thing will blow all day long for years and years and years and years. And just to give you an idea how much force that fan has, and there you have it. All you got to do is build a box for it. Just a square box. I just built a normal box around it. And then put it on a stand like that. Build a box around it, and then you can put it on a stand. You can either mount it like this, or you can mount it like this to where you can rotate it and stuff like that. And it's just a square box that you put around it. And you can use these common holes that are in it to mount your box to. These mounting holes. Okay. Any questions? Do I need to build the box today too? I don't mind building a box. I'll build a box for it if you want me to. But I gotta close. I'm gonna have to close the stream down and get set up. Hey, did y'all hear about the whistleblowers? Remember the whistleblowers that came out on vaccines a long time ago? They worked for like a Fox affiliate or something like that. Well, the FBI or somebody raided both of their places last night or yesterday and nabbed all the evidence that they had ever acquired on bad vaccines. Confiscated it. What y'all think about that? That's insane, ain't it? Alright, so I'll get set up and build a box. We got this wired up correctly for a high-speed fan. And we'll be ready to install that in a box in about, I don't know. I gotta cut some wood. I got any wood I can actually use for this project. Let's see. Oh yeah, and by the way, I think I want to start doing giveaways on these builds. So y'all just let me know, anybody that's interested, and you know, shipping on it's gonna be probably about $10 or something. So if you want one of these, if you're ever interested in buying one of these builds, just let me know and I'll give you a more than reasonable price on it. But I'll go ahead and build a box fort today. I'll find something to build a box fort with, and I'll come back on. But y'all just be sitting here listening to me make a bunch of noise. So I'll just I'll bump off of this thing. I'll come back.